What's up, everybody? My name is Big Cam and welcome back to another Theory Time video. We don't get to do these all the time, but it's very exciting because Thursday afternoon, me and my buddy have tickets to go see Thunderbolts, which means today, Wednesday, when I'm filming this, is the day before I get to see this film, and I guess this video will be coming out Thursday morning, but this video is the predictions, and my predictions for what the Thunderbolts will happen, what my predictions will be for the post-credit scene, and I hope to answer the question for you, what MCU projects do you need to see before seeing this movie? And I think I have it narrowed down to the 5 MCU projects most essential, but there is obviously more because guys like Bucky have been in all of the phases of the MCU, dating back to phase 1 with Captain America, the first Avenger. But we'll chat about all this and get into it, and we'll get into my predictions. But first, let's just chat about what the second tallest building in the world did, because Florence Pugh did a stunt, jumped off the building. I believe this will open up the film, and they have a laser light show with Thunderbolts and the asterisk on the side of the tallest building in the world as advertising for this movie, which is just like, it feels insane, which it is, you know? Like, even just when like the Daredevil Born Again lit up the Empire State Building red for Daredevil, like the laser light show on the side of the tallest building in the world is insane. And then there's this quick little poster here of in 1 week in Daddy and Daughter with Alexei Shostakov, Red Guardian, and Yelena Borova, Florence Pugh. I friggin' love these two together, and this poster obviously came out a week ago. 1 week till Thunderbolts comes out May 2nd, May 1st if you know what's up and you're getting your tickets early. But this movie is going to be really interesting, and my predictions, man, I guess from the trailers, it looks like Taskmaster is not going to be making it very far in this movie. I have a feeling she dies quite early, and, you know, maybe it gives us some stakes to the movie, though. Like, hey, you can die. These characters will actually get hurt, and they're not just invincible, you know what I mean? Like, I think this movie's going to have some real stakes. I feel like it's going to have so much heart. I mean, sure, we have some super soldiers in there with Wyatt, Red Guardian, and Johnny Walker, Red Guardian, and Bucky. But, like, you know, they're still, you know, punching, kicking, you know, maybe can run and jump faster than everybody else or stronger than everybody else, but, like, can't fly, no laser vision, nothing like that. Poor Yelena's just like Natasha. She's just a normal woman that got, you know, some spy training with the Black Widows, but, you know, she's just normal, so she can definitely feel pain. But they're going up against this Sentry figure who is kind of like Superman, but if he was had a little bit of a DID personality disorder. But it is what it is, you know. And apparently the post-credit for this movie is going to be like a 5-minute scene, which hopefully returns to form what I believe the post-credits should be in a Marvel movie, you know? Like, they shouldn't just be these quick little one-off introducing a character that we'll never see again, like Star Fox, you know, with Harry Styles. Like, unless he comes back, that post-credit scene is now useless, you know? Like, and kind of bullshit, because we expected something and now we're never gonna get it. Like, come on. But on the other hand, the Marvel's post-credit scene now seems to be more important to Avengers Doomsday and going forward than we ever could have imagined, so that's kind of exciting. And, you know, with this movie, originally when this movie came out, I thought it was going to be like Marvel's Suicide Squad, and it was just going to be that, you know, and it was just going to be a bunch of these anti-hero villains and people you wouldn't expect to be together all of a sudden come together and they fight some bad guy that's worse than them, type of thing, you know. And it is kind of like that, but I think this is going to be different. It's going to have so much heart, and it's going to have, you know, characters we love. Like, I love Bucky, Yelena, Red Guardian. You're like, if something happens to them, I'll be invested. I don't really love John Walker, but I love Wyatt Russell, so if his character dies off, I'll be pissed, you know. I don't really have a connection to Ghost either way, but well, let's get into, you know, talking about where they came from and the movies that you should watch heading into Thunderbolts, and where these characters came from, if you were wondering. Ghost played by Hannah John Kamen, or Kamen. I've been hearing a lot of people say Kamen, and I'm like, oh, I've been saying Kamen for years. But either way, Ghost was last in Antman and the Wasp. Not even Quantumania, I don't believe. Antman and the Wasp. So if you haven't seen that in a few years, I feel like myself today, I'm going to brush up on a couple of these, like Black Widow, Antman and the Wasp, maybe a couple of the shows, although I just watched those recently. John Walker, speaking of shows, was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, also with Bucky, and that was the last time we saw John Walker. But Bucky was also in Falcon and Winter Soldier, but Bucky is the one that has been in the most things. He has been in Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, made a brief appearance in Captain America Brave New World, which isn't necessarily important to this movie, but hey, who knows? It could have connections to Thunderbolts. It was the last movie to come out from Marvel, so if Marvel's trying to fix their slate a little bit and have everything connect to what's going forward, maybe the Captain America Brave New World does connect to Thunderbolts. Even more than just through Bucky. I mean, Thunderbolt Ross, who just turned into a Red Hulk in that movie, is supposed to be the name of this team, Thunderbolts. With the asterisk, like, we still need to talk about that and like what the post-credit scene could be and that asterisk and what that means. Very interesting that Thunderbolt Ross is like the name of this team. So that's how I know, like, you know, with him in the raft, you know, and not president anymore, I'm thinking this team is going to need a name that's not named after this hulky president. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just me. But the last time we did see Bucky in Captain America Brave New World was when we saw that he is a Congressman Bucky, which I don't believe lasts very long in this movie. But we also saw a What If episode with Bucky and Red Guardian showing off their chemistry, which was a great episode from What If. Not necessarily important to the Thunderbolts, but just, you know, if you wanted to see more Bucky and Red Guardian chemistry, that is a whole episode about that. Moving on to Red Guardian, Alexei Shostakov is Yelena Belova's father and Natasha Romanoff's father. Red Guardian and Taskmaster were both last seen in the Black Widow movie, with Yelena, his daughter, who was also in Black Widow, but she also showed up in Hawkeye. And she might be like the leader of this Thunderbolts and the heart of the team. And if she's not like the heart or leader of this team, you know, maybe Alexei and her and Bucky kind of lead this team together. And Alexei's not really a leader, but he's got all the energy, you know, that the team needs. But yes, Yelena is Natasha's sister. She also is a former Black Widow, so she can handle herself, but she's also, you know, a bit of a badass, you know, and if you didn't see her in Hawkeye, it's not necessary to see Thunderbolts to understand where she's at, but the scene between Kate Bishop and Yelena Belova in Hawkeye is awesome, and, you know, maybe Kate Bishop, maybe a Hawkeye shows up in this movie. I highly doubt it. I don't think we're going to get any cameos like that, you know, at least my predictions. I think we're going to have this team go against Sentry, and then if we're going to have any cameos or anything like that, it will be in the post-credit scenes, and that should get interesting. But the last two members of the team that I really want to talk about is Contessa, who isn't really a part of the team, but Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character is Contessa Allegra de Fontaine. She was introduced in the Black Widow post-credit scene, I believe, where she was talking to Yelena about going after Hawkeye, which sets up Yelena in Hawkeye. So, you know, Contessa's kind of like the thread between all these people. She's not necessarily important, but she kind of threads the connections together. She was also in Falcon and the Winter Soldier's post-credit scene, giving Johnny Walker the U.S. agent suit in the name U.S. Agents. You know, hey, forget about Captain America. We'll need a U.S. agent. And he's kind of like, cool. It's the same suit, but it's what? You know, like, so, you know, Walker's back. She was also in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, where we learned that she was the director of the CIA and former wife to Ross, Everett Ross. So, interesting there. And I believe as director of the CIA bought the former Avengers Tower, so we're going to see that in this movie. Still a prediction, but I believe that's actually what happens, is the CIA are the ones who own the Avengers Tower, which is just nuts. Like, what? Why? But then also we're gonna have Sentry Bob Reynolds, Bob, who is new for this movie, but from the comics and stuff. And he has not been in anything before this, and this will be his first appearance. So, projects you need to see: Black Widow, Captain America Brave New World, kinda, Hawkeye, Falcon Winter Soldier, kinda, and Antman and the Wasp. And this is mostly just for the background information on these characters, for where they came from. Really, I don't think you need to see any of these to see this movie. I feel like you can go into this movie blind and really enjoy it. And not even if you don't know these characters, I feel like you could get to know these characters in this movie. And I'm sure they'll be throwing out background information and stuff to, fill in the gaps for the people that don't know everything. But for the people that have seen everything, I'm sure it will just enhance your experience that much more. And, it's just always good when you have the little Easter eggs and connections to the Marvel movies the way you want, and that's what makes Marvel so great, the interconnectivity that a lot of us have been missing. But my final predictions: does Sentry kill everybody? No, I think that the Thunderbolts will stop Sentry. But this leads to, like, a post-credit scene where Sentry is either, like, in the actual void, or maybe he gets a rift in reality splits and he gets sucked into it, kind of like Monica Rambeau, and she's, like, now in a different universe. But maybe he gets intentionally sucked into, like, Battle World, and we're getting that whole thing for Avengers Doomsday. But we will have a 5-minute post-credit scene, which is going to be fascinating. So to me, is it the Avengers meeting, the current Avengers meeting the Thunderbolts, setting up where they're going? Is it the Fantastic Four meeting the Thunderbolts? Is it the Thunderbolts meeting Doom? Is I have a feeling, my prediction that I'm gonna stand on until I see the movie, of course, but this is just speculation. I think the Thunderbolts ends with them meeting the Fantastic Four, and then when you're in the Fantastic Four, their post-credit scene ends with them seeing Doctor Doom, you know what I mean? But we do know Avengers Doomsday just started filming just recently, so if they wanted to tack on a little Avengers Doomsday sneaky footage, like a little scene or two from the first day of filming, they could, theoretically they could do that. If the post-credit scene wasn't filmed months ago when the movie was filmed, they theoretically could stick in a little scene from Avengers Doomsday here. Or Fantastic Four, which was also filming around the same time as Thunderbolts. But, I don't know, maybe Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were both filming in Atlanta at the same time, so maybe it was easy for them to kind of mingle and walk across both sets to film a little thing for both movies, and maybe a post-credit scene for each. I don't know. These are just ideas. Comment below your predictions and thoughts for these movies. Have you seen any of the projects beforehand? Are you excited for Thunderbolts? Which character do you know the least about, and which one are you hoping to learn the most about? Are there any projects where these characters showed up that I didn't name, that I might have left out or forgotten? I was making this list and I was really trying to jog my memory, but the whole time I was just like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. So comment below, did I miss any projects that these people were in? Let me know down in the comment section below, or you can message me on my other social medias, links for that down in the description below. Once again, my name is Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you'd like to support the channel, do all the things: like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss future videos. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you've made it this far in the video, stay tuned for my Thunderbolts movie review and breakdown-ish talk discussion tomorrow when that movie drops. I will be talking about it first possible moment I can. I promise, probably Friday morning. But I might even need to see it twice before I can talk about it officially. So I will be talking more Thunderbolts with you guys in the future. There was also a breakdown for episodes 4, 5, and 6 for Andor Season 2 that came out on Wednesday, so go check out that if you haven't. And breakdowns for The Last of Us Season 2 have been coming out every Monday. That show's been awesome, and can't wait for Sunday, another HBO episode for that to drop. But my name is Big Cam, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!